Yeah. Okay, thank you. Our viewers, wherever you're watching us all over the world, welcome to TVBakwetu. This Monday segment on TVBakwetu is called One on One with Dr. Kasonso. We'll be talking about the current issues in business and finance with a focus on Zambia. My name is Patrick Chilufya and I'm your host. I'm based in the UK. Here on TVBakwetu, we monitor the performance of the kwacha. At the close of the business today, the US dollar to kwacha was buying at 17 kwacha and 1 ngwe, selling at 17 kwacha and 6 ngwe. The British pound was buying at 21 kwacha 23 ngwe and selling at 21 kwacha 14 ngwe. The euro was buying at 17 kwacha 91 ngwe and selling at 17 kwacha 96 ngwe. The South African rand was buying at 1 kwacha and 7 ngwe and selling at 1 kwacha and 8 ngwe. The kwacha posted small gains and appreciated marginally above all the rates obtaining in the last 1 month. Perhaps it's these incremental gains over the last 1 month that resulted in better prices of fuel, which the ERB passed on the benefit to the consumers by reducing the fuel price for around two kwacha and 53 ngwe per liter this month. The kwacha continues to hold relatively strong against other convertible currencies. Now I'm going to call upon my program partner, who is Dr. Kasonso, to come and introduce our guest tonight. Dr. Kasonso, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chilufya. I noted that you, in the observation, that we experienced a trickle-down effect of the kwacha's marginal gains, leading to better prices in fuel, and immediately the ERB passing on that benefit down to the consumers by that slight reduction per liter of fuel. You can see that prudence in financial management and fiscal discipline ultimately benefits the country both in the short term and in the long term. So we are going to be able to talk things better, and we are going to make observations that are going to be both candid and also fact-driven. Yeah, so today we return to our series of shows on the subject of economic development through innovation and the adoption of new technologies. But before reviewing the President Hakainde Hichilema's press briefing last week, we addressed new technologies and methodologies in agriculture with Dr. Grace Mukupa. And so we return to this important topic, albeit with a Zambia-based specialist in this area. Our focus today is business development in agriculture. Business development in agriculture. Please share the discussion with your friends on Facebook and subscribe to the TVBakwetu if you have not. We're also live on YouTube as well. Our guest today, who is going to help us knock out business development in agriculture in Zambia, is Ms Memory Mtambo. She's an agri-expert and a healthcare specialist and a life coach. So we are pleased to have you here, Ms Mtambo. Welcome to TVBakwetu.
Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. And I know in other parts of the world, it's morning. Good morning. Thank you so much. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Mr. Chilufya, you may take the reins and begin the discussion for us today.
Welcome to the program once again, Mrs. Mtambo. Yeah, I have to put you on the spotlight now.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, so the first question is, how did we get here? Can you please tell our viewers who Memory Mtambo is and what she does?
Okay, thank you so much. Memory Mtambo is an agribusiness expert, life coach, and also public health specialist. As also an entrepreneur, she's also a farmer. So that's what Memory is all about. So Memory is also an NLP practitioner, and she is also into mentorship and coaching. So in mentorship, she does organization business mentorship and transformation coaching. So that's what Memory is all about. She's also an employee. Thank you so much.
Before I bring in Dr. Kasonso to ask, you've also mentioned that
Mhm,
you also an organizational business mentor and traditional life coach. Is it important for a
mhm.
person to have a mentor and a life coach in their lives, especially the young people?
Yeah, definitely, yes. I would say for me to be where I am, it's not by magic or by accident. It's I've sat and great people. I've also been mentored. I've also been coached, and I've also been in groups of mentees. I've also been under groups of mentors. So through that, this is the person who you are seeing right now through coaching and mentorship. So I can say briefly, a mentor is someone who has knowledge and has experience, and they are ready to carry you along with them so that they can make you become. Then coaching is someone who has the knowledge, then they're just able to guide you and to show you the way to go. So I feel strongly that especially young people in our country, Zambia, they need to consider these things very, very important, to look out to people who have gone before them. They sit and seek wisdom and guidance for them to achieve what they want to achieve. So it is really very important.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Dr. Kasonso, over to you.
Thank you for that response, Ms. Mtambo. Clearly, coaching and trying to help redirect people in life and giving them the tools they need to succeed is a very important aspect of life, especially for young people. Now, our focus today is on agriculture, and we want to hear from you based on your expertise on the ground there in the Republic of Zambia. Is agriculture a viable business, and can it contribute to economic development, more especially for Zambia? Can it reduce unemployment for our youth, and if so, how? How do you see the potential and opportunities on the ground, and what are the direct and actual areas of viability or areas in which we can try and explore the subject further?
Okay. Thank you so much, Doc. To me, I feel agriculture indeed is a way to go. And I would not call it agriculture, I would call it agribusiness. The reason is that agribusiness is where someone has to take agriculture as a business. But if we just put it as an agriculture, it's like we are doing farming in just in the in a traditional way of doing things like our forefathers did. So to me, I would say yes, agriculture is cardinal and it needs to be treated as a business. Actually, I would even say that agriculture needs to be treated as an industry on its own, in the sense that because in agriculture we have production, we have processing, and we also have got branding and marketing and sales, and attached to it there are also aspects of transportation of produce from the farm to where the consumer is. So this is a value chain that is in all an agricultural sector or an agricultural industry. So agriculture is
Yeah, sorry, our viewers, we experiencing some
So to me, I would feel, yes, it is important. And if, in fact, for young people,
Sorry, our viewers, we're experiencing some network problems with Zambia, and we'll continue as soon as the network improves. Dr. Kasonso, can you just say something about what she was saying?
Yeah, what she's trying to tell us is to move away from the notion of the perception of agriculture just as a traditional way of life, because there is agriculture as a way of life. But she's encouraging us or persuading us to perceive agriculture from the perspective of a business. So it's what she's calling agribusiness. So, and then because if we pursue agriculture as a business, then it means that we're making specific investments in that business with a view to obtain a return on our investments. So we have to be that means from a financial standpoint, we have to be very careful with the selection of the product portfolio. We have to take caution into the specific arenas of the elements of agriculture that can be able to generate a return. In a period, we need to have measurable income or a measurable return of investment on that. And so far as it relates to young people, of course, because every time we invest, we are going to require people to work. So if we do have viable agribusinesses, we are going to be able to have people to work there. And those are jobs being created. And if we can do that en masse, then we are able to replicate that kind of effort in different areas. So we are talking about small businesses in Zambia and people investing in different spheres. The big part of that is for us to, make sure that the investments in these areas are robust, and many people are doing that, and line of products are clear. She also mentioned something about the value chains involved, that agribusiness has specific value chains that are there. So it means that there are supply chains and value chains. There are different aspects of it. There is a growing part of agriculture, and then there is a harvesting, the processing, and then the distribution of that through transportation. So there are many elements of that value chain that could be able to help generate revenue for different segments and create economic activity that can be able to improve the welfare of our people and employ youths in different spheres. That's I think the gist of what she has shared with us on that so far.
Yeah, because one thing I noticed also was that a lot of youth, she's a youth, she's young. I'm told she started farming when she was 12 years old. And a lot of youth in Zambia, they think farming or agriculture business is only for the old people, those people who have retired, or people who live in the villages. And without knowing that agriculture can actually be the solution to creation of jobs and businesses, actually viable businesses. When you look at countries like Malawi, their main business is agriculture. How come they're doing well just with agriculture? So I don't know. What's your comment on that, Bakasons?
Yeah, you have to look at our history. I remember as a young man, I started school in a village, and we would have some people who retired from the mines. They'll come and establish a wonderful looking home in the village. And in those days, there was a policy, I believe, of back to the land.
Yeah, back to the land.
Yeah,
Yes.
so we have this cultural concept from those type of activities that you only went back to the land when you retired. And that creates a view that agriculture is for old people, retired people, and that is where we need a paradigm shift. to look at agriculture not just as a way of life, but to look at agriculture as a potential area for business, potential area for business. So we have some cultural perspectives to overcome when it comes to that. How do you take a young person with solid skills and abilities to invest in agriculture? So we have to demonstrate to them the potential of it and the fact that agriculture needs to be a business rather than just as a way of life for older people. You can, Ms. Memory, I can see Ms. Memory on the screen. You can ask her the next question, Mr. Chilufi. No, you are muted.
Can you hear us?
No, you are muted, Mr. Chilufi. Now we can hear you.
Can you hear us? Mrs. Mtambo, can you hear us? She came in and then and then we lost her.
Yeah.
We've got Cynthia here. Cynthia, can you hear us?
Yes.
Yeah, Cynthia, have you got a question or comment so far? What Memory talked about and what Dr. Kasonso talked about also. Hello, Cynthia.
Cynthia, you're muted. You can unmute and speak. Yeah, so she can't hear us either. So, yeah. So the aspect of employment, especially in the agribusiness, I think a good beginning for most of our young people is not employment from the farm, but self-employment in a farming enterprise. I think that's the best route to go. Yeah, and promotion of entrepreneurial skills, ability to focus on the project and grow the products and be able to sell them and market them. Yeah, and I'm sure one of the things that we are going to be looking at in the next several months, because of these partial investments from the government through CDF, is we are going to have to create robust marketing institutions. You remember in the KK days, we used to have the Agricultural Marketing Board. Yeah, so those type of institutions are going to have to be brought back, or some form of those type of institutions.
Dr. Kasonso,
welcome back, Ms. Mtambo. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, yeah.
Okay, I'm so sorry. My MTN and Airtel, everything is, yeah, but I'm sure the network will stabilize.
Yeah, so okay, let's move on. Yeah, so Mrs. Mtambo, is farming or agriculture only for old people or retired people? What advice can you give to the youth?
Okay, agriculture, like I earlier indicated, to say I think we need to prioritize it. That is the reason why we fail in our country where agriculture is concerned. We've not prioritized agriculture. We've not treated it as a business. We've not treated it as an industry on its own, where I had to explain about the value chain in it, because there is production in it. You talk about processing of products, and there is also part of marketing what you've produced, and you need to do proper packaging of it for it to stand on the market, and the value now attached to it for a consumer now to accept what you've produced. So this process involved in it, I don't think it's we can consider it as an odd person venture into it. So for instance, I will give an example where someone has retired and their age of 60, and this time in our country people need to retire at 65 years. So in 65 years, and someone now wants to venture into agriculture, and they get all their package and start investing into it. Remember, agriculture is a business. You are coming now on the market where you've got already people who are already producing on the market, and you start now producing. So you as a person, you need 5 years of your product to be put on the market for it to be accepted by people, and for you now to strive as a business. So to me, I feel agriculture is not for old people. Agriculture actually needs to be taken by young people. Why I'm saying so? It creates employment for young people. All you just need are basic skills for you to venture into it. Unless where now you need expertise, you need mentors, you need coaches now to train you how you need to do now the processing of your product, where you need now to do the marketing, where you need now to do the branding of your product. I feel that's the way it needs to be treated. And the other thing is agriculture, as I indicated, is a business. It needs a business plan. Why do you want to be producing, for example, you want to be producing maize as grain maize? Why are you producing it? What is your vision of your farm or your farming of grain maize? Where are you seeing your business 5 years from now? And is your business, can you leave it for someone to inherit your business, or your generation to take over of that business? Because trust me, this position where we work, if you work for an organization or a bank as a manager, trust me, once you reach 65 years old, you retire. The person you are working for, they will lay you off. Then your generation, none of them will inherit that. But once you start an agribusiness or agriculture as a business, you venture into it, you build it up, you put the vision attached to it. The plan is there. Even if you are not there, your generation will be able to take it over and build it on. I feel that's what us young people need to start looking agriculture in those angles.
That was fantastic. Over to you, Dr. Kasonso.
Oh, great. I think that response was wonderful. And I must agree with you, Ms. Mtambo, that it seems to me that agriculture is going to have to be a little bit labor intensive. And if you are going to venture into it in the twilight of your life, your productivity might be there, or you might have enough people to employ to do your thing, but your energy levels are lower. You need to have higher energy levels. So it's much more advantageous to the younger people to venture into that. My question for you, Ms. Mtambo, has to do with your concentration on growing soya and winter maize. You are concentrating on growing soya and winter maize as opposed to normal maize grain. What's the motivation for this? And what are your thoughts on the pricing of maize, or corn, as we call it over here?
All right. I think for me, soybean has been a very interesting crop to grow. Reason being that a lot of products now are being produced from soybeans. So you've got soybeans oil. You've got feed that is being produced from soybeans. Soybeans can also be produced as porridge that other organizations are using right now. Others, like we'll talk about Mary's Meal. He's providing soybeans porridge to children in schools where they don't eat anything, but they can have that porridge as a meal. So soybeans right now, as we are talking, it has got a lot of value chain in terms of processing it. So that's so interesting, and the nutrition part of it is very good. It is used in, like I indicated, in feed formation, so feed for chickens. It's also used feed for fish. Others are also using it feed for livestock. So for you, as for me, why I had to choose that is because of the processing things that can be taken out of it. Others make soybeans sausage, others make soybeans milk, others also make soybeans biscuits. So it's just so vast, I can put it that way. That's the reason why I've done produced soybeans. Then the other thing is also the value attached to it. It has got high value, where someone can grow soybeans in 3 months, and you can harvest soybeans and get good profit out of it. Or you can also channel it back into your farm if you are keeping animals and you are doing fish production. So it's all around in those areas. That's why I had to venture into it. Then in terms of grain maize, compared to winter maize, we call it winter maize here, or green maize. The reason is that also where value of money that is attached to it. Growing grain, it's so labor intensive. Also, there is time, that is the time frame for one farmer to produce the grain. They take about 10 months for a grain just to reach the market value and to lose the water. We call it moisture content in a grain. So it takes about 8 months to 9 months for it to reach the moisture content, which our FRA agrees to buy the grain from farmers, compared to when one grows green maize or winter maize, because it's about only 3 months. You grow it, medium maturity. These you find good varieties with Sidico. You find good varieties with also called Vulangila company and other seed companies. You find those good maize which are very tasty, and you can grow them. So it's about only 3 months. You grow it in 3 months. You're able to take it on the market. Now, the most amazing thing about these two things is that you check it out. So if I grow grain, I'll take 8 months. So in 8 months, for instance, I'll just give an example of a 50 kg. So for a 50 kg, you shell it off. Those cobs, it takes about 25 cobs of them to make a 50 kg bag, which is qualified to be sold to FRA. Then if I also grow 50 cobs of maize, so one who will take a grain for 50 kg, who wait until 9 months for that grain to be ready and to be taken to FRA, and FRA will value that at 3/4 per kg. That was the price for last year. I don't know how the price for this year will be, but the price for last year was 3/4 per kg. And we multiply now 3/4 by 50 kg, you find that you are selling a 50 bag of maize at 150. Farmers were very happy and other people. But to me, as an agri-person, an agribusiness person, to me, it was not so encouraging, because I need to wait for 8 months for me just to get a 150 from FRA. Then if I grow now my 250 bags, I will sell them one at 3/4, 1 cob, or I will sell them at 5/4. And this time, as I am talking about, any fresh maize you are buying it starting from 5/4 going up. So if I multiply 5/4 times 250, so my value becomes somewhere like more than 1,000 for only 250 cobs. But the one who is selling a bag,
hold your thought, Ms Mtambo. What you're telling us, that the growing winter maize has a shorter time span than the regular grain,
and more profitable,
and therefore more profitable. And now, what are the factors distinguishing growing the two products? What additional competences do we need to grow winter maize that we don't have growing regular maize?
I think that one now depends on a farmer who needs now to do proper calculations, because winter maize, selling grain maize, the price which the government or other people put, it's so unfair, because once you do the multiplication, you find that a farmer now will be selling 1 cob of maize, because even if we shell it, it's still 1 cob. So 1 cob of maize is sold. It was sold last year at 1/4 sikistengwe after 18 months to FRA, because there are still 25 cobs in that bag. So it takes 8 months for one to sell grain of 1 cob at 1 kwacha 60 ngwe, with someone who will grow winter maize to sell the same cob at 5 kwacha. Now listen, the grain has got labor. It needs to be shelled. It needs to be graded. It needs to be packaging. It will be packaged. And all those processes are not counted. And it needs to be transported from where the farmer has grown to where they have put the shade for FRA. So to me, I don't see it in sense in that. That's the reason why you find farmers who would complain bitterly, because even the price of fertilizer just to grow that grain is so high, and our varieties now, they are hybrid, they can't grow without fertilizer. So these are the things now that makes me to say I think growing grain, as a business person who is looking at time wasted, the investment involved, it's not more profitable compared to winter maize. Yes.
So what you're saying is winter maize, you have to sell it as a fresh maize, and then people
Yes.
can cook it or kocha, and it gives you more money than
Yes.
Then dry
Than
ones.
the dry ones. Yeah.
Fantastic.
yes.
Fantastic.
Continue, Dr. Kasonso. Over to you.
Yeah. Yeah. My next question relates to the onions. You told us that you also grow onions. What are the attractions? Why did you venture into this?
Okay, I think for onions, I would say it just triggered my attention because of what was trading lately concerning about the banning of importation of onion and everything. To me, when
Hold your thought on that. We're gonna come to that. Yeah,
okay.
just tell us why you're growing onions, please. We'll come
Oh,
to that in a minute.
all right. So, growing onion is also quite an interesting crop. And looking at it, I think it's depending on doing some diversification, crop diversification, where you say, okay, which crop am I going to go for? Looking at what is trading. So onion is also a good crop, and everyone is consuming onion. So that's the reason why I had to venture into onion, especially in the period of January, February, and March. We normally have got high prices during that period of time. So that's the reason why I had to venture also into onion production.
So, Madam Mtambo, you're so strategic. You know what you're doing. And then let's move on. So, what's the difference between the concept of agriculture and agribusiness?
Okay, so the concept of agriculture is farming as the way of life, as culture. If you split it, it's agri and the culture. So there is the agri, which is the growing of something, and the
Mm,
culture. So it's like you're just growing out of culture. And this is what has
yes.
been happening in Zambia. So
Yes.
where we just grow, you are doing work. You find someone, no, I've got a farm. No, this time I'm going to do some maize. So it's like it's just a culture or the way of doing things. But if you look at the other part where you take it as an agribusiness, like I've been just tabulating things or explaining the processes involved, you'll find that agriculture is just quite an interesting industry where it creates more employment actually to people. But in the culture where you'll find that even people, they would get someone who has got rags, and they'll put the person post on crops that they have grown and get a picture. Those are the billboard that we normally see. People who are looking so poverish kind of images, those are the images that we see. We've not seen someone who has well dressed, looking good, and stand with where the crops they have grown and show this is agribusiness, because that's what it is. So to me, I think those are the two things that distinguish between someone who is doing agriculture and someone who is doing agribusiness.
Oh, that's fantastic. The next question is the government or the Minister of Agriculture. This is the question you were trying to answer. I think so. No, not the same one. Yeah, the
Okay.
government or the oh, no. The government has issued. Yeah, that's the question you were supposed to answer. Then I stopped you. The government has issued a statutory instrument to ban the importation of onions.
Mm-hmm.
How important is this statutory instrument? And secondly, where is the problem? Where is the problem? On one hand, the government was saying there's shortage of onions, and then the farmers, on the other hand, they were saying there were a lot of onions. What is the problem? Over to you.
Okay. All right. The main problem is that it's information. We don't have a proper information system, especially in the agricultural sector, where information needs to flow very well, and people need to know what's happening on the ground, because even the Ministry of Agriculture themselves, they don't know exactly what is happening to their farmers. They don't know how many farmers have got a irrigation system, how many farmers are using, maybe are they irrigating using can, are they irrigating using motorized equipment. So the standard where even farmers are, we don't have all that information on our tips of hands. So it is all about information. So there is so misunderstanding of all these things that is happening. So I think that could be the main reason. Then the other thing why I also celebrated when the government says, okay, we'll no longer import onion, let our farmers grow in onion. To me, I thought that that was a good move, because the government now is encouraging every one of us who have got interest into agribusiness now to venture into producing onion. I would even love to let the government stick to what they have said. Even if there is no onion in our country, let us stay with not eating any onion in our homes, so that we can now produce onion and be able to export somewhere. Why other people are producing more and importing to Zambia, but us Zambians, we even laugh our farmers to say, manja pa bakangi wa kuchita produce. Those are the comments that are coming on to say no, farmers now are failing to produce, no, farmers cannot meet the market demand, no, farmers what? Because no one wants to take agriculture as a business in the first place, because we were just growing things anyhow. But once the government has done that, I feel the government is now motivating every one of us to take now agriculture as a business and run it as a business, so that everyone can produce onion to the standard value of the market and be able to be sold. I feel that is the main reason
Uh,
for that.
that was fantastic. Before Dr. Kasonso comes in, I just wanted to let you know that onion, especially red onion, is one of the
Mhm,
fastest selling products here in the UK.
mhm.
And
Oh, wow.
the UK doesn't grow a lot of onions; they import. So this is
Wow.
when now, if there's excess onion in Zambia, which
Mhm,
is well produced, organic, then it
mhm.
can be exported, and then Zambian
Wow.
farmer can have an opportunity now to export and even earn more money. So
Yes.
that's fantastic. Over to you, Dr. Kasons.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mtambo, for those fantastic responses and educating us and the audience on matters that are very specific and useful to the business environment in the agricultural sector. The government or the Ministry of Agriculture is assisting young farmers and by creating a conducive environment to start farming businesses or grow their agribusinesses. What are your thoughts about the government policy of moving away from FISIP to holistic agricultural support program, including supporting irrigation, loans, not just seeds and fertilizer? What do you think about that?
To be, I feel that will be a very good move, because to be FISIP is not helping anybody. Because like I explained, even if the government will say we'll buy the maize or whatsoever the farmers are growing, the prices still are low. if we start now looking at the cost of production involved, we look at the period for someone to produce and to sell, because in business, you're looking at time. Time is very cardinal on what you are producing. You have to look at your returns. This that I'm producing, when am I going to receive profit out of it? So I feel if we need now to take agriculture as a business and as an industry on its own, we have to do away with FISIP. So FISIP needs to be taken out. Then the government can now look at how now they can now reduce the prices of fertilizer and all these other input involved in it. Then that way will help farmers. Like they have said, we also have got equipment where farmers now can have loans and everything. So removing FISIP out of the picture, I think it will be very good, because everyone now who waken up, who won't wait for any free fertilizer, free seed from the government. Then every one of us will have the mentality. So what I can also maybe echo here, it's our limiting beliefs that have drawn all of us Zambians, especially where agriculture is concerned. We've painted agriculture to be something that is very impoverished kind of career, where everyone thinks agriculture is so hard, where everyone thinks they can't strive in agriculture. If I tell you there are young people here in Eastern Province who are into oil production of getting oil from sunflower. They are getting oil from sunflower. They are also getting sunflower cake from it, which is being transported to Lusaka. They are also getting also gaga from also the same grain. So all these things, they are all making money. So it's, if we can have all these things in place, we create people, or we have group of people now that can mentor young people and tell them to say, listen, in anything in life, you need to work for what you work for. You also need to have a vision, because we are all supporting people's vision here. And I would also echo this. If we import, we are supporting the vision of other countries who are producing to export to other countries. Then us, we are just depending on importing. So our vision as a country for us to start exporting, it's not working. We are just supporting other people's vision here. So I think that's what I can say.
Dr. Kasonso, before you come in, it looks like we've got the Minister of Agriculture here.
Wow.
You've mentioned something that amazed me. That you talked about soya. You can get oil from soya. You can get oil from sunflower, and yet we are
Yes.
importing cooking oil, and cooking oil is very
Mhm.
expensive. What do you think
Mhm.
the government should do to support those farmers to grow those businesses, farming, so that they can produce more oil? Because why should we importing cooking oil when Zambian
Mhm.
farmers can do it? Over to you.
Okay, on that one, that is also something that I'm wondering, because of the same, like I also mentioned, it's the information on the ground. Because
Mm,
here in Eastern Province, there are a lot of farmers who are producing cooking oil, and
mm.
it's good cooking oil. And the cooking oil from soybeans, the cooking oil also from sunflower. So I think this is what the government needs to put now, information systems, which they need to look into it, so that information is fed to the government, and the government now see to it to say that, okay, I think this period of time, can we stop importing all these cooking oil and other agricultural produce, and allow our
To
farmers to
support the
produce.
local farmers.
Yes,
Yes.
to support the local farmers, and you see how youths will run to be agribusiness, producers, or or processors, and also exporters. I think that's what is needed.
That's fantastic.
Excellent.
Dr. Kasonso,
Excellent.
over to you.
Thank you, sir. That's excellent. That's we here on one-on-one. We've staked our foot in the sand in regards to importing stuff we can grow or products we can build. We cannot be a country lazy in the 21st century, where we live of importing stuff from everyone else as if we have as if we have, endless resources. I lived for a season in the Middle East, and in the Middle East, like Donald Trump says, they have nothing but money. And the reason why they import everything is they have so much money from oil, and each family gets a cut out of that that money, and they can pay everyone to do stuff for them, and they just concentrate on producing oil. We don't have such kind of resources, and for more than 30 years, at least since the Chiluba government, we embarked on this senseless project of buying everything from everywhere, to the point where in Zambia, where the expert fishermen in Luapula province, Zambia imports fish.
Why?
Yeah.
You see, so that kind of laziness is a paradigm shift that we expect this government to put the elbow there and say no more fish from other countries. The fish we eat in this country will come from our rivers, and some of it will come from our fish ponds. And those fish ponds, the youths will grow them. So, kukwata omutima washipa wakosa wakwimirira pa chintu. Ms. Mtambo, if I may ask you a question. Despite Zambia having good rains, land and rivers and soils, but why is farming failing in Zambia? Because we can't pick farming as a success story once we import so much farming or agricultural products from other countries. Why
even potatoes? We're importing potatoes from Tanzania.
We're importing potatoes, and we import cooking oil for that matter. Why is agriculture failing in Zambia? Cooking oil is a product of agriculture,
Yes.
So we import all of that. Why is farming failing in Zambia?
The first thing is we've not prioritized it. We've not prioritized farming in Zambia. And if you see all the budgets when they are being allocated, you find that where agriculture is concerned, there's just a small amount allocated to agriculture. Then we'll also look at our agricultural officers on the ground. They are not given all the support and the encouragement to do the work. As a result, you find information is not gotten. I'll give an example. There was one day we were looking for information as an organization where we are working from, where we wanted to know if farmers were interested in acquiring a certain product called a treadle pump, which is a manual driven irrigation equipment. So we were trying to find out. We went to one of Ministry of Agriculture offices, and we told them, okay, we need this information. How can we get it? And it was so surprising that the DACO was saying, wow, even us, we don't have this information. Please, when you get that information, you collect data and you identify farmers who are using cane, either they are using these other products. Come and give us information. So on that, again, there is a gap. I feel that also contributes. Then the other aspect also that contributes is that we've painted agriculture as not a sector where someone can strive and produce more. So those also are the other aspect. Then the other aspect again that I've seen is that agriculture again, producing our own crops, like me, if I produce as a fellow Zambian, people will want value my produce. They would rather buy a product that is labeled from another country. So us, ourselves, Zambians, we don't support our fellow Zambians of what we've produced because of our limiting beliefs. So we kill our own selves because we are not helping each other to support each other in what we ourselves are producing. And it's even so sad, you find that someone outside the country will come and teach us how to do conservation in our own country, when us ourselves, we know that what we are doing is affecting even the climate change. So there's just this mentality that we have as Zambians, which we need to change. Because even, making comments about people who are into this sector, it's like we've not prioritized, we've not seen that this sector actually is a very, very cardinal sector. If today we tell all small scale farmers in the country, Zambia, to say, okay, in this year, 2022-2023 farming season, let us not produce, and see where the country will go. You will see how poverty levels will increase. So if we can prioritize, value our farmers, support our farmers, then we'll see how we are able to produce and also to export. I feel this is what is contributing.
Excellent, excellent. I love that response. And now, if you see that that's what is contributing, always here we are forthright to make positive suggestions that can help improve the conditions on the ground. So, what can you think of as some positive solutions or recommendations to cure that problem? You've cited our countrymen's here on TVBakwetu, we've called it the spirit of jealousy, where the Zambian people don't like you to produce a product and they're not supporting it. But somebody from another village across the border has produced something and they're rushing to go and do and buy that.
Yes.
So can you suggest some positive steps that can be taken, or some positive practical policies that can be undertaken to improve the capacity of the local product to compete with whatever is coming from across the border? Or should even what is coming from across the border even be coming into our country if we can make it?
Okay, I feel what is needed is Zambia now to support each other, especially in the agricultural industry. We need to support each other. And if we see our fellow Zambians are producing whatsoever crop or cooking or any agro product, we need to hold hands and support each other. I know we are able. If we are able to support other people who are importing, why can't we support our own? I think that's what has killed a lot of us Zambians. Even you find that in workplaces, it also goes to us. We can't. If one of us have got a contract that I need to win in supplying maybe products to maybe a hospital, someone would prefer engage an Indian than a fellow Zambian, and I'll lose out. And once my produce go bad, we'll even laugh. So the first thing is, let us hold hands as Zambians. Let us support each other, especially in the agriculture sector. The government has said they want to stop importing onion. But us Zambians, we need to hold hands and say, okay, let's support our government with this idea. Call upon farmers. Can we produce this onion? What are you lacking? If there are irrigation systems that they are lacking, if there are no wells where they are, what can we do to put at least those wells in places where they are needed? If there are equipment, because technology is what is bringing us back as Zambians. We don't have, technologies that can spearhead our production processes. That's the reason why we tend to feel as if we are not meeting the market demand or the standard of products on the market. It's because of agricultural technologies that we don't have, because we don't have money to procure those technologies. I'll even give a practical example. I'm shelling soybeans. We are doing it manually, but there are equipment which can shell soybeans within 1 hour. So within a day, I'll be able to shell my soybeans maybe down 2 hectares or 3 hectares. But I'm doing manually, which is costing me 3 weeks just to make sure that I shell I make sure that I even grade my grains. I remove all dirty in it. It's taking me 2 weeks. But someone who is having all the resources, they are able to do that in a day and they are done. So if we can hold hands, support each other, support the Ministry of Agriculture, the government look into it and make sure that I feel unity in agriculture will go far. I think that's what I feel, and investing in agriculture and in farmers, that's the way we can go.
So, what in essence,
Excellent.
what
Excellent.
you're saying is maybe farmers can come together in form of maybe a cooperative, bring resources together and help each other. Is that what you're trying to say? Can that be one
Uh,
of the solutions?
That can be one of the solutions, because cooperatives were being formed some time back, but we know because of FISIP and every other thing, maybe along the way they lost their vision because they were not structured in a business kind of idea. So if maybe we go back to the same cooperatives, we train them, mentor them into running their cooperatives as a business, because it's so disappointing. There are also other organizations who came in and constructed some sheds, bulking centers in these villages. Those things are just standing idle. So I feel maybe on the part of cooperatives, yes, it can work, but there is work which needs to be done, where training of those people to start running them as a business. I feel. Then the other thing is maybe also the same policies that the government has put, where farmers need to have access to loans so that they can be able now to invest into agriculture. Then the other thing is also looking for investors, because you find that it's very hard for young people even to venture into vast production, because the land is not readily available to people to produce more. So all those aspects, I think they need to be considered.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mtambo, for those excellent responses and for giving us a good feel of what is going on the ground and opportunities for young people to venture into the agribusiness and the models and methodologies that can work, the type of products that are currently on the market. Mr. Chilofia, do we have any contributions or questions from the blog sphere?
Yeah,
Or
that's what
from
I'm
the team
trying
members?
to. We've got
Mhm.
somebody in the background. I don't know whether they can hear me. Ades Banda, can you hear me?
She has a phone muted, so she needs to unmute the. She
Mm,
needs to unmute. She needs, yes.
yeah,
She
yeah,
appears.
she's muted.
Okay, she
Yeah,
appears muted.
yeah. Let me remove her. We've got Mukelebai. I've got some few comments in there, but let Mukelebai come in first.
All right.
Mukelebai, how are you?
I'm very fine, my brother. How are you?
Okay, if you got a question or comment, were you listening to our program?
I I just came. I just reported back home. So if you can just fill me a little bit in, then I will ask a question.
Dr. Kasonso will do that. Dr. Kasonso, can you
Yeah,
fill?
Bom Kelebai, we are talking about agribusiness. And Ms. Mtambo has educated us to distinguish between culture and business. Culture is a way of life, and business is an enterprise from which we are going to earn a living. And agriculture is a way of life, where agribusiness is an investment portfolio through which we are going to earn a return on our investment. So, and then she chronicles a lot of opportunities there and why we need to have young people. So, literally, what we're discussing here today, Bom Kelebai, is business development in agriculture. So if you have any thoughts or comments on that, would really ask you to confine your comments to that.
Thank you so much.
Question.
Having lived in an environment where the weather is not so much conducive, that you only have nice weather during just for a few months, and the rest of the year it's sub-zero temperatures. And then you look at the opportunity that our country possesses, and yet we still want to cry that we are a poverty-stricken nation. That really bugs me. I don't know why. I don't know how, what is going on. Or we just don't want to expand our knowledge and innovate, come up with innovative ideas on how we could sustain ourselves. There's too much opportunities that we, the Zambian people, African in general, we have the opportunity, we have the weather, the climate is in our favor. We can grow crops that can actually sustain us throughout the whole year without even having any break. Even when we have droughts, we have crops that can survive, that can withstand the drought. The only thing that we need right now is of course, if we have a government that is not just siphoning money, but investing in our own people to actually to develop in terms of agriculture. Agriculture is the only way to survive. If you want to have a better lives in Africa, let's go agriculture. Will never, because everyone, I am a suit today for imiotoka turensha tulalia first, we have to eat. So without food, the whole world will be doomed. We won't even have diseases to cure because you are hungry, you are dying. So I believe that our country has the potential. We just have to change this mindset of ulesi, bourgeois. In laws, we call it bourgeois, that we have the opportunity. Then we have to make sure that at least we work hard. We need the government also to chip in to reduce the prices of fertilizer and other farming equipment, so that every average Zambian can afford to even have oloka garden. If you're going complaining at Umunani now, Dula, but you can't, you have water, fresh water, you have beautiful climate. Oloka garden na tomato kuyadi kumen. And then you want to complain that this government yangane poboma. And the issue ya kupepa to feel to the paper on set miraculous to therefore free of charge things feel from manna from heaven. It will never happen. Kuti mwaya ku church mwaya lila. You can even cry, speak in tongues. If you are not doing your job, you are not going to dig the ground to plow. You are not going to have food. You continue suffering and praying. So let's just have to change this mindset and let us support one another. Supporting one another is the only thing. Self-hate, Zambia, especially Zambia, na jealous, no pamulomo, na hypocrisy. So tukaleke, let's just try to stop these things and learn to unite like Habaneswama Indians. You see how they thrive in their business. So this is what I just had for today. Otherwise, it's a wonderful program. Tufire tulelima. Na mwewe kela mu diaspora. Mwatume mpia. Mwalima kwa at least 2 hectares. Aka onion. Not to catch the import onion to South Africa. Bupu. Thank you.
Over to you, Memory. Any comments on what Bomkeleva is one of the TVBakwetu family member. He's based in Finland.
Okay.
I live in Norway.
Norway, yeah, Norway.
He lives nowhere.
Yes, nowhere.
Okay. Mhm. I think what he has said is very cardinal and very important. I'm sure I highlighted also on the part of supporting each other and this attitude of being jealousy, because the way he has just explained it as if he was around. So I would yes, I would echo on what he has said, that as Zambian, I think it's high time we need to change our mentality. It's high time we need to love our country, and we can love our country by only supporting each other, especially in the business sector. We are able, if we are able to deliver in working for other people, supporting their vision. I always tell myself to say that even if I go for a job, I have abandoned my vision and going to support someone's vision who has sat down, generated an idea, and he wants to his vision to strive. But what am I doing with my own vision? I think this also applies to our country. We are supporting other people's country by bringing things in our country, but when are we going to wake up as Zambians and start exporting? Like the way you have said, we've got good soils, we've got good climate conditions here, but why can't we produce more and be able to export? We have that capacity, and I feel the government is in support of that, because even our current president, he's coming from an agricultural background. So I don't feel that can be a big issue if we can hold hands and support each other in this agribusiness industry.
Excellent, Ms. Mtambo. I have a question from one of our bloggers here on YouTube, Simatasianga, says, can our agri expert comment on the cultivation of marijuana prospects? Maybe let me amplify his question. Do we have good prospects for the cultivation of dobo and cultivation of marijuana in Zambia? Yes.
On that one, I won't say much because I don't have much information on that one. I can't say much. Maybe the only information I have is on tobacco production. Yes, I've seen a lot of farmers doing tobacco production, but it's just so surprising that those that have been doing the same tobacco production, their way of life, it's not so encouraging, but it's so labor intensive. So for me, who is in the business environment, I've also looked at that crop or produce where farmers do the tobacco production. Both they start from somewhere like October doing the nurseries, just the process just to produce. It's so labor intensive. So for marijuana, I can't say anything because I've got no idea on that one.
Okay, thank you so much. You don't have experience on that. Sorry, Wasimata or Wasianga. Our expert doesn't have any experience with Dovo. I'm sure I will conduct a little bit of research on that and come back full throttle to discuss Dovo together. So that since I'm sure I'll get some thoughts so we can have a good conversation on that whilst having some. There is a comment here on our screen, Ms. Mtambo, from Mr. Terence Findlay, who says, Madam, winter maize needs irrigation. So it means that there are some extra capital requirements. Basically, that's what she's saying. How are you working around that, and how can people work around that? What are some of the cost-effective ways in which irrigation can be developed to support the growing of the winter maize?
Okay, I think it's very important question. I would say that in any business, the first thing that you need to do as an entrepreneur, you look at what you have faced. So if you want to venture into winter maize, you look at, do I have land? Do I have water? And if I have water, then do I have the irrigation equipment that I can now start my business of producing winter maize? So if you find that you don't have irrigation equipment, you can look at, okay, if you have a can and a can cannot, I know a can cannot make you produce more or do a large portion to irrigate, because there's this aspect of you going to draw water, you go irrigate. But there are also other technologies where Kickstart provide for manual, where you don't need any cost attached to it. So there is a treadle pump and a heap pump. So these are small amounts that are needed for you to acquire that and embark on the journey and start irrigating, because this is what we are all now talking about. We are talking about irrigation. We are talking about how can we do water harvesting in our country so that there is plenty of water that is being reserved so that people are able now to irrigate year round. So I feel you look at first what you have before you even start venturing into winter maize, where you need to irrigate. And once you do that, then you will see how you are going to strive by taking one step at a time, and you are going to grow. I think that's what.
Over to you, Mr. Chilufya. Your turn.
Yeah, this one is just a comment, but it's a long one.
I can read it. Problems faced by farmers and industry can be turned into student challenges where they come up with solutions to real life or work-related problems, thus making our agricultural education relevant to society. This will also be an opportunity for youths with agricultural competences to be mentored by successful farmers and be motivated to venture into agribusiness. That powerful comment is from Ms. Rebecca Namulindwa. What do you say about that comment, Ms. Mtambo?
I think it's a very good comment, and I agree with her. Because the other aspect is that you'll find that even people who have also done general agricultural programs, even agribusiness program, you find them, they are seated just waiting for the government to employ them. But none of them has taken an initiative actually to venture into agriculture. I think what is lacking, especially from our young people, is the entrepreneurship mind. And for them to understand that now, for them to strive in business, they need their business to be registered. They need their farm business to have a vision. They need their farm business to have a mission. They need their farm business to have a business plan. All these legal documents are needed for us to strive. I think this is also another aspect. That's why we can't export, because we don't have all the right document for us to present them even to people to help us now export our products, because we are just doing it because no, Memory has done soybeans, has made a lot of money. I'll grow soybeans this year. No, this one has done onion, then and even me, I'll go that. That's the mindset we have. But we don't have the mindset where we need to sit down, make a business plan and say, okay, these are the crops I'll run with 5 years or 10 years from now, until I've become a very successful agribusiness personnel, or I become an agro producer in this kind of business. I feel maybe that's what I can say.
I think that was fantastic. Yeah, and before we come to the end of the program, Dr. Kasonso, closing remarks.
Well, I would just like to thank our guest, Ms. Memory Mtambo, for educating us about business development in agriculture, specifically in Zambia. The opportunities there are available in growing soybeans and winter maize. There's a tool she has highlighted. I would add fishing in cultivating fish. I would also add chicken business. We need the government of Zambia to flush out foreign players in the small to medium-sized enterprises, as far as fishing and also growing chickens is concerned. abaleteeka enkoko ku Zambia bafuire baba abaiki balina bakibomba mu Zambia not if pombolo fishi ku bantu fyafa mu mishi yabo ko fyara fikankare fisa mu kuteeka enkoko mu Zambia ero fresh enkoko ne cheap price abaiki nga bateeka otukoko twabo balefira n'okushitisha ubuteeko naffe ffe bakitire ba government kuli onion basala paka punda. Small and medium-sized enterprises needs to supervise and ensure that abaleteka enkoko mu Zambia baiche ba youth they have so much unemployment tetumulete mu pombolo fyali chemishi yabo ko fikankala ebe fisa mu kuteka enkoko mu Zambia no ifena fyena natuminapo tukalanda pona kabiri but twa imyalulu inkoko eshakwata baite bachitisha enkoko bena balesa mukushisha pali half the price because baleshisha enkoko eshingi sana and abachenga bamukushisha balipanga ama losses chalo chasha necho bengeka abantu bamusango efi na papo bafire balosha po buteko chalo chabe na Zambia baichabo tabakwata machito abo bafire bacha create ama jobs mu bigger enterprises and industries yakwatire to focus export not baleta saturate local markets baleta mfya nabantu muri mutuma market tutokwa tureba lisho kulipia ama electricity bills tefo bekale ifo chalo che switch. Thank you Bachirufu.
Kasonso, you've just made a very important point. I know some farmers in Kitwe and Lusaka who were complaining, small farmers. They discover that our brothers from Asia, the Chinese, they also come and grow and keep chickens. But the only difference is let me finish, Kasonso. Let me finish. The only difference is a Chinese is keeping 1,000 chickens and the Zambian is keeping 50 chickens. So it's volume driven. So who is gonna sell the chicken at a lower price? It's a Chinese because it's got volumes. And then what happens to a Zambian? He loses out. And this is one of the reasons why Zambians don't want to go into farming. And the other reason Mrs. Mtambo mentioned is data, information. Because if Zambians knew that onions, like now, a lot of farmers needs to know that the government has banned the importation of onions. And then Zambians can grow the onions. Farmers need statistics. How much onions is consumed every day, every month, every year? How much onions are bought by ShopRite, so that they can grow the onion and grow their businesses. And then Kasonso, Botswana, I like talking about Botswana because the Swanas are 10 steps ahead of us. In Botswana, there's no way a Chinese can come and sell chickens in the street. There is a restriction of certain businesses that foreigners cannot do, except the locals. And if a Chinese wants to come and do chickens in Botswana, then he has to bring an investment of about $50 million.
Yeah. So
yes. So in essence, the Botswanan government wants to protect the local businesses because if they don't do that, their people are gonna go out of business, and the Chinese man will come and sell all those chickens and take the money back to their countries.
Yeah. So number just pause open much last comment. Number mwe bantu sure. Na mulamu ne munkoko ishakulya fya mayanda mu bantu. Na mulamu ne baye bafokotole mu sure na mulamu ne mayanda bayese ndaka change na kene bagule batwale ku China. Chalo chasha nicho. Ba small medium size enterprise ministry funyeni mu Chinese mu kuteka enkoko. Letelekele ni ba youth ba ebo bale teka enkoko. Muchalo chabo. Mubike pona bani pakuta import inkoko sha Zambia aba pilokulateka bena Zambia. That's our position here on one on TVBakwetu. We want our people to be empowered, not just to be empowered in Ifitenge or to be empowered with CDF money to go and kuingira muri buplamba nenkoko kuti bateka ba youth kubompesha shinendalama. But funyini mu Chinese abo bayisa mu kubateberera no kulakisa compete on volume mutuma industries yutonono. Tole na Chinese kuma mine kumigodi if you have a capital intensive. Take those foreign investors to industries that are more capital intensive. Not na mulamu ni mukoko na mwene baye mukufokotora muri market abantu beswalera lensa lefe twakana charo chesu ichi. Thank you Bachirufu.
That was fantastic, Dr. Kasonso, and thank you so much, Mrs. Mtambo, for coming. That was a very educative program. I can see from the comments, the viewers are excited. I can see Linda Banks here saying, "Incredible woman! What an incredible woman!" Linda Banks
Wow.
is one of our anchors here. She's got a Linda Banks show. Actually, I've spoken to her. I want you guys to have a ladies show, so that now you can go
Wow.
deeper from agriculture and just talking about women, what challenges women
Oh,
face. So she'll soon be contacting you very soon. She just made a comment. Yeah. So our
okay.
thank you once again, Memory, for coming, Mrs. Mtambo, for coming. Thank you so much for my partner in crime, Dr. Kasonso. Thank you so much for Mukeleva, one of the TVBakwetu family members, for coming. And the comments you made were excellent. I can see our viewers from Facebook everywhere, they're making comments. That was fantastic. And we are coming to the end of this program. This was another special edition of One on One with Dr. Kasonso on Bakwetu TV. Thank you so much for your viewership, all the viewers all over the world. May the good Lord bless our beloved mother Zambia. Good night and bye for now.